John Harbaugh's first Giants draft did not just add rookies. It immediately tested the culture inside the building. That is what nobody is seeing right now. On the surface, Big Blue should be celebrating. The draft is over. The rookie class is getting massive praise. Insiders are calling this group the kind of class that makes you want to run through a wall. But barely days after the picks, Malik Nabers publicly questioned the Giants' top selection, Arvell Reese. And that changes the whole conversation. Because this is not just about whether Reese can play. This is about whether Harbaugh's first draft already has buy-in from the stars who matter most. Did Schoen and Harbaugh just build the foundation for a playoff contender, or are the first cracks already showing? The rookie hype is real. So is the tension. Let's be honest about where things stand. The holes are clear, and the pressure is immediate. The Giants needed this draft to create clarity. They needed offensive support around Jackson Dart. They needed defensive toughness. They needed depth. They needed players who fit Harbaugh's identity without requiring 3 years of patience. The offense still has pressure points. Dart is the starting quarterback, and that means every roster move has to help him function faster. The protection cannot be patchwork. The receiving room cannot rely only on flashes. The third down offense cannot keep asking 1 or 2 stars to solve everything. The defense had questions too. The Giants needed more physicality, more linebacker stability, more run game answers, and more young players who could actually become part of a real rotation. And then there is the culture problem. A praised rookie class is great. A star receiver publicly questioning a top pick is different. That is where this gets dangerous. If Nabers is just being honest, fine. Stars have opinions. Stars should care. But if his comment reflects a wider uncertainty inside the locker room, that is a problem Harbaugh has to crush early. Because Harbaugh's first draft cannot feel like a front office science project. It has to feel like a plan. The Giants can survive debate. They can survive criticism. They can survive rookies needing time. What they cannot survive is mixed messaging before the pads even come on. And that brings us to what just happened. The headline is simple. The Giants draft class is getting enormous early hype. And I do not mean polite praise. I mean the kind of run-through-a-wall endorsement that makes fans sit up and ask, wait, did Big Blue actually steal something here? That matters because this draft is Harbaugh's first full class as Giants head coach. It sets tone. It sets expectations. It tells the locker room what kind of player this regime values. The early buzz is that the Giants may have found massive sleepers and diamonds in the rough. That phrase matters. It means this class is not being judged only by the names everybody already knew. It means there may be value deeper in the group. Start with Arvell Reese. The brief says some people never imagined Reese would fall to the Giants at number 5, and that he has the potential to become the elite of the elites. Here is the emotional translation. When a player at the top of your draft is being talked about like that, the front office is not just filling a need. It is swinging for a defensive identity piece. That is why Nabers questioning the pick matters, and we will get there. But on pure upside, Reese is the type of pick that tells you Harbaugh wants violence, range, and attitude on defense. He wants players who can become the heartbeat of the team, not just names on a depth chart. Then there is Malachi Fields. The Giants aggressively jumped for him, and the brief points to impressive GPS data. That is not just nerd talk. GPS data tells you about movement, speed, and whether the athletic profile matches the tape. The emotional translation is this. The Giants did not casually wait around for Fields. They identified him and moved with intent. That puts the NFL on notice because the wide receiver depth suddenly looks different. Dart needs more than one answer. He needs options. He needs size, timing, and players who can win in different ways. Jamison-Travis also matters because he prides himself on stopping the run. That is not flashy, but it is very Harbaugh. Stopping the run is about attitude. It is about refusing to get bullied. It is about making opponents earn every blade of grass. And Jack Kelly, the 6th-round linebacker, is being labeled a diamond in the rough. Here is what that means to a Giants fan. If a late-round linebacker becomes real depth, that is how good teams are built. Not every useful player comes with fireworks. Harbaugh summed it up by saying he rounded out his first draft with a bunch of Giants. That line has weight. It means he is not just collecting talent. He is collecting a type. And when you see how Nabers reacted to that type, the whole story gets sharper. The draft hype is the foundation. Malik Nabers' reaction is the stress test. Because a class can look great on paper, but the locker room decides whether that class becomes culture. Nabers openly questioned the Giants' number 5 overall pick, Arvell Reese, on a Bleacher Report simulcast. That is not some anonymous whisper. That is a star player publicly reacting to the team's biggest swing. Here is why that matters emotionally. When your star wide receiver questions the pick, fans instantly wonder whether the locker room sees the same plan the front office sees. Now, I'm not going to crush Nabers for having an opinion. Honestly, I appreciate that he cares. I would rather have a star who is invested than one who shrugs and says nothing. Nabers is part of the future. His voice matters. But Harbaugh had to respond. And according to the brief, he did respond clearly. That matters because this is Harbaugh's first cultural test with the Giants. Not a game. Not a playoff moment. A credibility moment. Does he defend the rookie? Does he calm the room? Does he make sure the veterans understand why Reese was the pick? That is leadership. This is where the mosaic starts to make sense. If Reese becomes elite, Nabers' question becomes a funny early clip fans laugh about later. If Reese struggles, that clip becomes a receipt. That is the pressure of top picks in New York. And the Giants cannot let this become rookie hazing that turns into real tension. Healthy banter is fine. Public doubt is manageable. But confusion is poison. The Harbaugh and Joe Schoen dynamic matters here too. They have to navigate scrutiny together. They cannot have the coach defending one vision while the front office sounds like it is selling another. The draft class needs one message. Reese is the pick. Fields was targeted. Jamison-Travis has a role. Kelly has a chance. Mauigoa brings smoke. That has to be the story. Because when a star asks the question publicly, the organization has to answer even louder. And when you combine that with the immediate roster moves after the draft, you start to see that this regime is not waiting around. The proof is what happened after the draft. The Giants quickly made a flurry of roster moves immediately after the draft. That matters because teams do not just draft players and stop. The board keeps moving. The brief says these moves sent unmistakable messages to 6 players. Here is the emotional translation. When rookies and undrafted free agents arrive, somebody already on the roster gets put on notice. Dominic Zvada, the kicker from Michigan, has a real chance to make the team. That matters because the Giants will not go kickerless again. Special teams mistakes are not cute. They cost games. Ben Mann will compete for the long snapper job. That may sound small, but it is not. Bad snaps destroy field position, timing, and trust. Colton Hood also had a small gripe with Pro Football Focus, and I actually like that detail. It shows personality. It shows a rookie paying attention to how he is evaluated. Then there is DeMarvin Leal being waived, even though he was Harbaugh's first signing. That is a loud signal. Here is what that means. Harbaugh is not sentimental. If a move does not fit, he will pivot fast. That connects to the veteran bombshells too. The Dexter Lawrence to the Bengals idea was a pre-draft rumor or mock scenario, not a finalized trade. That is important. But the fact that people even discussed a Lawrence what-if shows how aggressive the conversation around this team has become. Russell Wilson, now an ex-Giants quarterback in this timeline, is making a shock career move with the Savannah Bananas baseball team. That is a reminder that NFL eras end fast. And on a serious note, Lawrence Taylor remains hospitalized. We send every bit of respect and strength to one of the greatest Giants ever. All of this proves one thing. The Giants are not in pause mode anymore. Hot take. Malik Nabers was not wrong to question the pick, but Harbaugh was right to shut down any doubt around Arvell Reese. And I am not backing down from that. My prediction is this. Reese becomes a day one emotional tone setter for this defense, even if the production takes time. That matters because not every rookie impact starts with stats. Sometimes it starts with speed, contact, and the way teammates react when a young player belongs. If I am wrong, I will come back to this video and own it. But I do not think I am wrong. I am also putting Francis Mauigoa on the record. I want the smoke with Micah Parsons. I want a rookie who does not duck Dallas. But talk has to become pass protection. Confidence has to become technique. And with Jackson Dart as the starting quarterback, that edge cannot be fake. If Dart gets protected and Reese brings teeth to the defense, this draft changes everything. If not, Nabers' early question will age very loudly. Big Blue is back at the table, and this rookie class already has pressure, personality, and controversy. That is the real story. Not just the hype. Not just Nabers. Not just Reese. Not just the roster moves. The real story is whether Harbaugh's first draft class becomes the foundation of a playoff contender or the first argument of a new era. Giants fans, pick a side. Was Malik Nabers right to question Arvell Reese? Or should everyone trust Harbaugh's first Giants draft until proven otherwise? No fence-sitting. If you are riding with Big Blue through every twist of this rebuild, you know where that subscribe button is. We break down every move, every rumor, and every decision shaping this team. Go Big Blue.